Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today on April 19th for our webinar, TaskRay and Cirrus Insight, How to Get Super Efficient. Just a few logistical things. There is a chat box in the bottom if you have any questions or anything like that that arise during the webinar, and we'd love to hear from you. Okay. Today, you're going to be hearing from me. I'm Jamie Moyer, the VP of Marketing at Bracket Labs. That's how you can get in touch with me. But more importantly, you're going to be also hearing from Darren Geary, the Director of Customer Success at Bracket Labs. That's Darren. That's how you can get a hold of him. And then also, you're going to be hearing from Sue Fernand, the VP of Channel Sales at Cirrus Insight. Sue will be Sue will be speaking today about how to be really efficient by working in your inbox and using Cirrus Insight to keep Salesforce 100% up to date. She's also going to be doing a brief preview of their new sales campaign tool, Flight Plans. And Darren, I'll go back and look at Darren for a second. As I mentioned, as the Director of Customer Success at Bracket Labs, he's going to give a brief overview of TaskRay, and he's going to talk about how to be more efficient by using TaskRay right inside your email in conjunction with Cirrus Insight. So really quickly before we dive in, I wanted to put up a definition of efficiency. It's the ratio of useful work performed, and I just love this definition because I think we've all been in situations where we're doing lots of work, we feel really busy, but we kind of know that it's not useful work anymore. And Sue and Darren are going to both show you how the apps can help make more of that work you do result in useful work, and that's how it's going to be more efficient. So without further ado, I'm going to kick it on over to Sue. Hold on one second.
Thanks so much, Jamie.
She is going to show you guys some more.
Excellent. Thanks so much. And again, thank you for letting me present to everyone today. I appreciate the time. So as Jamie had said, our topic today is really just being more efficient. And one of the things that we find with Cirrus Insight, and the reason that we developed the product, quite honestly, is keeping everything in one spot. If you're using your email as well as Salesforce, having to toggle back between the two can definitely cause, not only inefficiencies, but it also can add more work to your day, as well as it's not always convenient, and sometimes it won't happen because it's not part of my workflow. So our whole concept at Cirrus Insight is let's make Salesforce really easy to use by putting it in your inbox, as well as let's make it super efficient by doing things like syncing your calendar in the background or syncing all of your emails. So I can just kind of behave the way I normally would in my workflow in my inbox, but all of that stuff is syncing in the background to Salesforce. And there's also a lot of efficient tools that are on board with the app, which I'm going to run through as well. So using Jamie kind of as the example here, obviously we were back and forth communicating about content for the webinar and dates and that and the like. We happen to use Cirrus here at our Gmail here at Cirrus Insight, but we do also support Outlook as well as Office 365. But this is my Gmail inbox, and quite honestly, this is where I do all of my workflow. So when someone corresponds with me, I can see their information in Salesforce. I see if they're a contact or a lead, and I get all that relevant contact information. I also can kind of see what's going on with that particular person. I can see the email tracking, so we do support email tracking as a feature as well, so it's going to let me know if emails have been opened or if people have clicked on links or if they've replied. And it's showing me the snapshot is the last 7 days. So I can also go and drill down into more detail on that. I think super important for salespeople, keeping that pipeline up to date. I can see the active opportunities that I have open. I can also see the closed won or the closed lost. And again, I can go in and I can update my opportunities or create new opportunities. I'm also able to see all of the activities that are either upcoming or in the past. And we're also writing a lot of data to the activity history in Salesforce because we're doing things like email sync and calendar sync. So, I can kind of right away when she corresponds with me, see really what a bird's eye view of what's going on within that account. I'm also able to go in and see the more detailed contact or lead record as well. So if I need to update that, one of the things that we support at Cirrus Insight are all of your, customization that you've done inside of Salesforce is completely visible inside of our side panel. So mine would, obviously look a lot different from those of you on the line that use Salesforce, but we do support all of your, custom layouts and custom objects. We can even show you your related list information. So I can see all of that information for any record that I'm on as well. Another thing that I think, in terms of efficiency are the Salesforce tasks, right? Those can tend to pile up. So I'm able to fully manage those inside of the side panel. So I can go in and see what my tasks are for today, open them up, close them out, reassign them, whatever I would normally be doing in Salesforce, I can do entirely in the side panel. So it keeps me up to date on my tasks. But again, I'm not leaving my inbox where all of my correspondence is happening between my current clients and prospects. When I'm sending email, there's lots of things I have access to too. And I think one of the things I find is the most efficient with our product is our book meeting function. So if you're like me and you are trying to book a lot of meetings with, again, existing clients or prospects, that can often be challenging, especially if you're dealing with different time zones. So book meeting is something that I use, all day long. So essentially, if I'm trying to get a meeting with someone, I can click on this book meeting button and it pulls my calendar, my Gmail calendar, if I was an Outlook user, my Outlook calendar, right into the app. So I can display what time slots work for me. And this right here, I can build out the actual calendar invite. So I keep my GoToMeeting in there as a default because a lot of my meetings are online, but if this were something else, if I'm calling them or maybe we're meeting at a physical location, I can change that location. But once I select these times, it inserts them into the email. So when I send that off, the recipient sees this and they're able to select a time that works for them. If they're in a different time zone, they can look at it in a different time zone. But instead of them kind of, now telling me what works for them and maybe I've got to come back with some other times, if these times work, they can click on that. It books it on my calendar. It sends them an invite immediately, as well as I'm using Calendar Sync. So it's syncing those calendar events to Salesforce too. So a lot of things just happened with me maybe just sending one email. Another thing that I find super useful too, and those of you on the line that use Salesforce templates, we give you access to those templates right inside of your inbox. So if I'm sending an email to someone and I want to use a template, any of the folders I have access to in Salesforce, I have access to through Cirrus Insight. So if I just want to look at my own, I can see all of them. I'm also able to see with email tracking, what is the open and reply rate too, so you kind of know what templates are performing well. Not only can I see the templates, I can also edit them. I can even create a brand new one. But once I select a template, it just confirms who I'm merging it with, and then just pops it into the body of the email. So it's really, really easy for me to use my Salesforce email templates, again, right inside of my inbox. We also have a mobile app too. So, this is great, obviously, when I'm in the office and I've got my laptop open or whatever. But, again, people nowadays tend to be on the go quite often. So we want that same consistent experience when you're on your mobile device. So Cirrus Insight Mobile gives me exactly that. So I check my email through Cirrus Insight Mobile, and the benefit for me doing it that way is I see that contextual Salesforce information inside of the app. So again, I can update an opportunity, I can create a brand new record, I can edit, details. And when I'm sending emails via Cirrus Insight Mobile, I can access my templates, I can use book meeting, I can take advantage of email tracking. So I think, all of those things, again, providing me the same level of function from a mobile perspective that I have in the office. And again, ultimately just keeping the amount of data and updating consistent with Salesforce, whether I'm in the office or I'm out of the office. And there's really nothing that I need to do in Salesforce. I can really do everything inside of my inbox. So it really does make me super efficient. And I think, the ultimate benefit overall to a company is that Salesforce is doing what it's supposed to be doing. You're getting the data that you want. It's live, it's real time. It's not somebody updating it at the end of the week. We're also in the process right now, we're in beta with a new product, a new add-on to Cirrus Insight, which we're super excited about. It's called Flight Plans. And it's a sales campaign tool for salespeople. Right now the beta is available in Gmail, but we will later this year have a version for Outlook as well. So as a salesperson, a lot of times you'll go to an event, let's say. I plan on being at the New York World Tour in a couple of weeks. I'll probably meet a bunch of people there, and I'm going to want to follow up with those people, right? So usually there's a process that I have to do that follow-up. So now, instead of me kind of manually doing that or just doing an email blast and then kind of the onus on me is to follow up with that, would be more manual, you can build those out into what we call a flight plan. So these flight plans are really templates for that activity. So they could be as short as a few steps or as long as 20 different steps, but you essentially build them out. And it's super easy to either build them yourselves, or this could be something that a manager or someone managing like an SDR team builds out for you, but they're super easy to create. You're basically chaining together emails, either automated or something that you preview and then send, phone calls, and then to-do items. So whatever your process is for working a list, you're able to run through that very, very easily right inside your inbox. And what's really key and what we find unique in the way that we developed flight plans are outcomes. So at any point, you want to get to some sort of an outcome when you're reaching out to this prospect list. And that could be either positive or negative. They could say, hey, you know what? I'm really interested. Come to my office and let's meet. That's positive. Or they could say, you know what, I'm not interested right now, call me in 6 months. Or they could say, I'm using a competitive solution. But all of those different outcomes, have a positive or negative indication, but we also want to determine, what is that worth? What is it worth to me if somebody says, hey, I want to have you at my office to do a demo? Historically, do we close business that way? So if we do, then there's certainly a value associated to that based on what our average transaction is. So having those goal values for the outcome is key. So defining what you're looking for, what the potential outcomes could be beforehand, is really key to the flight plan. You also, in addition to being able to use obviously all of your email templates, you can build out these call scripts. So if a step in the flight plan is a call, not only will we give you a real easy dial back to our mobile app, but the call script loads up. So it's really, again, giving you kind of an email template, but it's really a coaching piece for the phone call. So I can put some maybe bullet points in here. You can even pull merge fields from Salesforce. So if you want to, kind of be consistent with the company name or the contact name, you can have that information, or account number. There's certainly lots of use cases for that. But layering in that kind of personal touch, but from a call perspective instead of from an email perspective. And then once those flight plans are created and I'm managing them and I'm putting people into flights, I'm living in my action items. But again, that's right inside of my inbox. So when I come in the morning, I can see all of the flights that I've got running and what are the events that I need, or what are my actions that I need to respond to. So it'll show me that I've got an email, I need to open that up. It shows me what the due time is for the different action items, as well as what the local time is for the recipient. So I'm not calling someone at an inappropriate time or hitting their inbox at an inappropriate time too. So it's really, really easy to make sure you stay on top of the different actions within a flight plan, as well as this is entirely supported on mobile. We're going to certainly be talking more and more about this, because right now we're in beta, and again, my contact information is on the slides that Jamie presented, so I would encourage anyone that would like more information on this or Cirrus Insight, I would be happy to do a demo as well. So with that, I want to turn, I guess, it back to Jamie so she can have you guys show us the awesome stuff that the TaskRay product does.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sue. That was awesome. Very good, helpful information. Darren, now it's going to be your turn to wow us with TaskRay and how TaskRay works with Cirrus Insight. I'm passing it on over to you here.
Great. Well, thanks for that, Sue. This is Darren here at Bracket Labs TaskRay. We actually use Cirrus Insight ourselves internally. We love it to sync our emails to Salesforce. Saves me a lot of time. And plus, we can also connect it to TaskRay. We'll have a look at that shortly. So let's walk through TaskRay real quick, show you a brief demo, and then we'll also show you how we can connect TaskRay to your Gmail or Outlook using Cirrus Insight. So as many of you on the call may be aware, TaskRay is a full-featured modern project management tool native to the Salesforce platform. That means it can integrate perfectly with all the data you already have throughout Salesforce, your accounts, your opportunities, cases, whatever it is you might want to be managing as far as projects are concerned. Many of our customers prior to using TaskRay are using archaic tools outside of the platform, from simple spreadsheets and thousands of emails going back and forth to more advanced, kind of very technical and kind of hard to use tools such as MS Project and so forth. So TaskRay brings all that project management, makes it a lot simpler and easy to use directly within Salesforce, where it connects with all the data you already have on the platform. It also allows for real-time collaboration via chatter, which we have embedded into TaskRay, and is also all the fields within there are 100% reportable in dashboard reports and also printable and exportable, all that fun stuff. In addition to that, you can also automate many of your processes. We'll have a look at that shortly. And of course, many of our customers really love TaskRay. We've got over 150 five-star reviews on the App Exchange. Good. So what do people really use TaskRay for? One of our main use cases is because people mainly use Salesforce to sell. They use it to, generate leads, follow up with those leads, create opportunities, and then once those opportunities become closed won, hopefully, you'll have accounts. What do you do then? You have to deliver on those accounts. You have to provide your goods, you have to provide your services. How do you manage all the activities, the work, and the projects that go into making sure your customers are successful with those goods and services that you're providing to them? So that's where TaskRay comes into play. By being directly within the Salesforce platform, you already have the context behind the customer, the contacts, information, all that kind of stuff. And now all you're going to be using TaskRay for is for managing that process, the tasks, the activities, the projects that need to get done in order to fulfill for that customer. So that'd be the main use case. However, ourselves internally here, as well as many of our customers, use TaskRay for managing campaigns for marketing. My colleague Jamie here uses TaskRay a lot, interacting with outside agencies and so forth. Many people use it for sales activities themselves, as well as for other stuff, project software development, franchisee onboarding, whatever you can think of. Any repeatable process you can use TaskRay for, onboarding new employees, accounting procedures. You can do all that kind of stuff. Good. So as a result, just like Salesforce itself, as you know, is very, very flexible, very customizable, very configurable, so you can really make it the way you want it to be. And TaskRay, since it sits on top of Salesforce, is exactly the same kind of way, very flexible, so you can really tailor it to your own needs. And as a result, we have customers in all walks of life, from education, software, real estate, professional sports teams even use it for their marketing. So really flexible to your own needs there. And as you can see, some awesome quotes there from some of our customers. Along with that, since we're directly on the platform of Salesforce, we can integrate perfectly with any other tools that are also on the platform, including Slack as well as Cirrus Insight, we're going to talk about further in a second, as well as taking advantage of all the other cool things Salesforce has to offer: Salesforce One Mobile, Analytics, Communities, Lightning. FYI, we are available in Lightning if you are moving to Lightning in the near future. So future-proof there. Good, so that was just a few quick slides. Now I'm going to quickly transition and jump right into TaskRay. We'll show you a few things there, and then we're going to go into TaskRay with Cirrus Insight and see what that looks like. So let's get out of this presentation mode. So now hopefully you can see on my screen here, I'm logged into Salesforce. I'm in the TaskRay application, the TaskRay tab. And what we can see here are there 4 different ways to visualize and organize our projects and tasks in TaskRay. Number 1 here is what we call the Kanban board view. Very easy, where we can see a particular project. All the tasks are represented by these task cards. Very, very, very visual. It's not just a row of spreadsheets and things like that, very difficult to read and understand. I can quickly see I've got 5 tasks which are finished, 4 in progress, 2 prioritized, and so forth. And all of these task cards, as we call them, are almost like sticky notes on a whiteboard. We can drag and drop them from one stage to the next until we've completed the task. And that is all updated in real time, so whenever someone else comes in here, looks at that same project, they're going to see those things being updated instantaneously. Other different viewpoints we can see here, we'll have a look at shortly, is let's have a look at some templates. Let's say you've got any repeatable processes that you do over and over and over again. In this case, I've got an example of a new customer onboarding. So let's say whenever a opportunity is closed won, we want to onboard a new customer of ours, welcome them to our community here, and make sure they're successful with TaskRay or whatever good or services that you are delivering for them. So here I've built out this template. So in theory, we'll really just create the project once, and then we can repurpose it as many times as we need to. Number 1, that helps standardize our processes, make sure we get the things done we need to get done in the correct order, and plus make sure the quality of our work is up. We don't forget to do these little things. So here's a list of 8 simple tasks that I typically do when we onboard a new customer here for TaskRay, all laid out in this template. And maybe a different way to view this is in a different viewpoint here in TaskRay we call the plan view, which is going to be more of a kind of a Gantt chart style visualization. So now I can see the list of all those typical steps we do when we onboard a new customer, and here's the timeline of that. So typically it takes about 2 weeks, something like that, and there's a timeline of each individual task. So some tasks take a little bit longer than others. We can see by the duration of the bars there, and I can even connect these tasks together with these dependency relationship arrows. So now the next time I need to onboard a new customer, I don't have to build the entire project from scratch. I don't have to enter each individual task by hand, enter in the due dates and all that kind of stuff. I simply go to a pre-made template, and then I'll go ahead and clone it. This is a manual way of doing it. There are automated ways. I'll talk about that in a second. So let's say this is for a customer called Acme Inc., for example. I'm going to go ahead and set the start date for today. That's a key date, by the way, because now when I clone it, it's going to take that date, that start date, and automatically take that timeline that I had built out in that template and calculate the dates of all the tasks within it. So now I've got a brand new project here sitting for me in Salesforce and TaskRay starting today, and all the dates have automatically adjusted and calculated based upon that start date that I'd entered in. So now I've got all the deadlines already set up, I've got the new project waiting for me, and now all I need to do is assign people to these tasks. So very quick and easy, drag and drop my team members onto these tasks, and they're now going to be notified automatically with an automated email letting them know that they are now responsible for those tasks. They can come in here, start working on them, and move them forward. Straightforward. Now within the individual tasks themselves, we can see there's a whole bunch of data in here. All the fields in TaskRay on the project level as well as the task level are 100% customizable. So just as I mentioned earlier, you can tailor this to your own needs to really track and report upon anything you wish. We've also embedded chatter functionality of Salesforce to TaskRay. So oftentimes I'm working on my projects and my tasks and I need to collaborate with my colleague, let's say my colleague Jamie who's with me here, or if my colleague Eric, I'll know that he's in this demo instance. I'm going to reach out to him and say, hey Eric, do you happen to have the artwork for this? Maybe this is a particular marketing type project. I'm going to ask him that with an @ mention instead of going back and forth with endless emails that are buried and siloed into individual people's email inboxes where I don't really see what's going on. This is going to be open. It's going to be collaborative communication here, almost in a Facebook style threaded feed. So we'll imagine my colleague Eric will come in here and he'll say, yes Darren, here it is. And he can upload that file from his desktop, from Salesforce, or even from the cloud, Google Drive, Dropbox, wherever he has that file located, and he can share that with me accordingly. So very easy how we can collaborate very efficiently on the actual task itself instead of going back and forth elsewhere and having to switch back and forth between your email and Salesforce and TaskRay here. Good. Of course, files, links, and attachments are going to be showing here, and so forth. Different ways to visualize our projects here is in what we call a row view. Takes all those tasks and groups and clusters them in rows. So now I've actually got them grouped together by the owner. So now I can see how many tasks are assigned by each person for this particular project. If I wanted to, I can even select many different projects at once. And it's going to load up here real quick. And we're going to see lots of different projects on the screen here and also lots of different tasks within those projects. So here my colleague Blakely, she's got 75 tasks assigned to her. Many of these I have for John. They are finished. I don't care about those. Let's hide those out of the way. So now I can see how many active open tasks each person has. Helps me keep track of my team here. I can also even group these tasks together in any other way, even custom ways, custom fields you might have added. A useful one I like to look at is the end date, the due date of our tasks. How many overdue tasks do we have? 144 overdue tasks across all of our projects here. I've got a lot of projects going on, it looks like. 6 due today, so I want to make sure my team get those taken care of, and 14 due later on this week, and a lot more later on after that. So lots of different ways you can slice and dice our data here to make it more manageable for you and understand and get to the data you need as quickly and efficiently as possible. I can also filter this down just to my own individual tasks. So now I'm looking across all the projects and all the tasks owned by everybody. That's perhaps too much information. I'm going to filter it down just to myself. I want to see personally what I need to do this morning as I get in the office. I've got 4 tasks overdue. I want to make sure I get those ones done first, and then I'll move on to the next ones which I should do later on. So that's another way you can filter it down further just to yourself to see what's going on. Another viewpoint that's very useful is what we call the calendar view, where I can see on a particular monthly calendar all the things that need to get done. I've got it filtered down to myself here, so I can see all the things that I need to get done here. I can check them off here to complete them. I can even see this in an agenda view. Nothing for this week, I don't think, but beyond I can see the days of the week and the things I need to get done. Straightforward. So that was a very quick whirlwind tour of TaskRay, all the 3 different views, all useful in different ways. The Kanban board view, very easy drag and drop functionality. The row view, very easy to group and filter and find the things you need to get done in that particular viewpoint. And then the plan view, which is going to be more of a Gantt chart view. And then the last one was the calendar view we just looked at there. As we mentioned earlier, all the fields within the project and the task level here are 100% customizable and reportable. With TaskRay, we provide out-of-the-box reports that you can take advantage of and also customize further. We've got a whole folder full of reports here that you can use. You can customize further. Plus, we have a dashboard pack that you can install that'll show more of a visual representation of that data of those reports. So here I can see who's overdoing tasks. Myself, I've got 15 tasks overdue. John's way behind 90, and so forth. So very useful there. Good. So that was a very quick whirlwind tour of TaskRay. Now, when it comes to Cirrus Insight, as I mentioned earlier, I use Cirrus Insight a lot because many times my colleagues, my customers and clients that I'm working with send me emails, and a lot of those emails are things that I need to do. They're actual tasks, action items, and things like that. So instead of having to switch between my email or Gmail and over to Salesforce and into TaskRay and manually enter the tasks, I can come directly into my email. So let me switch over here into my email. We'll minimize this. So my colleague Jamie, who's on the call here, she actually sent me an email earlier of something that I need to get done. Now, instead of me having to go from my Gmail here and then go log into Salesforce, go into TaskRay, create a brand new TaskRay task, I can use Cirrus Insight that's embedded here into my Gmail and very easily, add this email to a particular record by clicking the Add to Salesforce, or it can do it automatically, as Sue mentioned earlier. But what I want to also do here is I want to be able to create a new TaskRay task, perhaps within here. So let's go ahead and see if I can create a brand new TaskRay task. We're going to do this, and let's see. We're going to put it into a particular project. Let's see if I can find a project here. There it is. We will select this one, and let's set the due date for this. Let's say it's due today, and we'll put it in that first column of holding. Okay, let's see what's going to be the name of the task. It is going to be fill out the customer forms in the email, so let's do that. Okay, good. And anything else I want to fill in here. These are other custom fields we have on the task level, so I can fill out those if I wanted to. But we'll just keep it simple. We'll leave it like that. I'm going to hit save. So now I've created a TaskRay task directly from my Gmail without even having to switch over into Salesforce or go into TaskRay. Very easy and very useful. What I can also do here is I can also link this particular email to a particular task. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm going to add it to Salesforce. So I'll hit save, and hopefully that email will sync to that particular task. So what I'm going to do here real quick is I'm going to switch over to TaskRay just to show that that actually worked. Hopefully it did. Cross our fingers. Let me refresh here. There it is. Okay. So let's go in here. I should have a Cirrus Inbox app here as a task. Within here, I should have an email attached to it. So let me go ahead and look at that particular task in Salesforce. There is an activity history from Jamie. That was one from earlier. So we can see that that's synced in there as well. Good. Now if I go back into my Gmail here, another cool thing that Cirrus Insight offers is the Cirrus Insight Inbox apps. TaskRay is an inbox app for Cirrus Insight that allows you in your Cirrus sidebar to connect directly to TaskRay. So here I can see that one project I'm looking at there earlier called Cirrus TaskRay Webinar, and I can see all the tasks within it. So now without even having to go into TaskRay or into Salesforce, I can do it directly from my Gmail here. I can check off these tasks automatically to magically complete them. So it's already moved to finished here. I'll check this one off, and so forth. So very easy to complete your tasks in TaskRay directly from your email using Cirrus Insight and the TaskRay Inbox app. Good. So that was a very, very quick whirlwind tour of Cirrus Insight from Sue, myself with TaskRay, and TaskRay and Cirrus together here directly in my Gmail. Jamie, I think we'll switch it back to you real quick and see if there's any questions. And as you said, throw in any questions in the...
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, if anybody has any questions, please let me know. I'm going to take back over the webinar here. Great. Yeah, let me get this going. And questions. Okay, we do have a question. This is for Cirrus Insight.
Okay.
And I think Darren could probably answer this as well, but what versions of Salesforce do you support?
Well, good news there is we support all versions, so there's not, a certain level you need to be at. So any version of Salesforce will support Cirrus Insight.
Darren, do you want to pop in on that?
Yep, just unmuted myself there. So yes, TaskRay is compatible with most levels of Salesforce, primarily from Professional Edition and up is where we see most of our customers.
Okay. So both people could answer this. Is there a free trial or trial option available?
For Cirrus Insight, yes. You just simply go to our website and you can add it. It's Chrome extension or Firefox extension for Gmail. It's a plugin for Outlook. We do also have a native add-in for Office 365, and there's no credit card or anything that you need to enter. It'll run for 14 days. Super, super easy. In fact, you don't even need to set anything up in Salesforce to start the Cirrus Insight trial.
Yep, and in relation to TaskRay, you just go to the Salesforce App Exchange and click the Get It Now button, and that'll install it into your Salesforce instance for TaskRay, again for 14 days, and reach out to us. We'll be glad to help you walk through that as you get started.
Okay, I use Pardot for email marketing. Would Flight Plans replace this?
Oh, good question. So Flight Plans is not, an email marketing campaign tool, although it obviously encompasses doing emails. It's really a sales campaign tool. In fact, to be honest, we ourselves at Cirrus Insight use Pardot, so we're still, going to continue to use that because we do need kind of a heavy-hitting marketing tool that can blast out a bunch of different emails after we, if we're announcing a new feature or an event or something like that. But those are, generally more kind of cold emails, right? We're just sending that out to lists of people, as well as with Flight Plans. The drafts are being composed inside of your inbox, inside of Gmail. So there is a limitation. It's not going to let you send, thousands at a time. So if you need to send, let's say more than 200, it definitely wouldn't be, be a good option for a marketing campaign tool. But that being said, for people that are looking for a lightweight, way to automate some emails and put them onto a drip, Flight Plans could certainly suffice for that. And, the added benefit is you'd have this awesome sales campaign tool on board with it as well. So it could actually have a dual use case in that scenario. Really just depends on, what those, how you're using Pardot currently. If you're underutilizing it, then Flight Plans could certainly be an option. So, it kind of depends on how you're using it, or any email marketing campaign tool in general.
Great. Okay, so here are a couple more questions. Can you have multiple triggers once a task is completed? For example, one task is done and then 2 different people have next steps. Can you direct the 2 new tasks based on the first being completed?
Yes, this is Darren here at TaskRay. Well, the good thing about TaskRay being native to the platform is we can take advantage of all the cool things Salesforce has to offer, such as automation through either workflow rules, process builder, custom code, whatever you want. So yes, you can come up with your own imagination with what kind of automations you want to do, you want to see. So, for example, you want to notify certain people when certain tasks are complete. Maybe you want to notify the next person that the previous dependent task is complete, that their next one is up to be done. Then yes, you can do that. We have documentation about how to do some of those things on our support portal. But if you can't find what you're looking for, feel free to reach out to us. Support at Bracket Labs. We'll be glad to help further.
Okay, one other question. How do you add the TaskRay Inbox app into the Cirrus side panel in Gmail?
Sue, do you know the answer to that?
Well, I know we have a support article about that because I was just reading it
Yeah,
on the
it's super
support
easy.
portal yesterday. Yeah.
So it is, yeah, it's an easy, obviously you have to be using, you have to be using TaskRay inside of Salesforce to have it display as an inbox app inside of Cirrus Insight. You just need to have inbox apps enabled, and your admin, if you're an existing Cirrus Insight customer, would just be able to set that up, and then it would appear in the side panel so that you'll have access to it just like we were showing earlier. So it's a very, very easy implementation. So if you're new to TaskRay and you install it, and then you also want to use Cirrus Insight, we can connect the two very quickly, as well as if you're already using TaskRay and you want to now use Cirrus Insight for email, integration with Salesforce and also have access to TaskRay, it can be turned on in a matter of seconds. And again, all of that, workflow and customization that you've done in TaskRay would obviously be immediately accessible inside of a Gmail or Outlook, depending upon your email platform.
And I will put the link to the article that we have about that in our support portal and the follow-up email here. So, okay, that's the end of our questions. Sue, I know you had some special offers for our webinar participants, so I'll let you talk about that.
Absolutely, yeah. So anyone that's on the webinar, if you're interested, and obviously you can do the trial. Like I said, it's from our website. It's a 14-day trial. But if you mention Cirrus Insight and the TaskRay webinar that you attended, we'll also offer you guys a 20% discount on your first year of licensing. And we're also flexible with the trial. I mean, if you would prefer, us do a more formal trial process, or maybe you want to do it in conjunction with TaskRay, I mean, we're all for that. So we can, certainly tailor that experience and do a complete walkthrough of the app as it pertains to how you might be using Salesforce currently, as well as if you're interested in flight plans. We'd love to walk you through that and hear how you're running sales campaigns now and see how flight plans might, be beneficial there as well.
Okay, great. And as always, for anyone interested in TaskRay, we have the test drive on the App Exchange and our free 14-day trial. So we really thank you guys for joining us today and asking such great questions and taking a look at both the apps and how to be more efficient.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jamie, for including me today. I appreciate it.
Well, we hope you all have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.